I'd like to call this meeting of the Princeton City Council to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Mabry.
Here.
Councilmember Newman.
Here.
Gomez.
Here.
McCall.
Here.
And Zaleski.
Here. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we're going to go to public comment period. Is there anybody that'd like to speak to the council? We'd like to ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. You can speak now, and you can also speak at the end of the meeting. I do have a
problem. Oh, there you go. That's better. Thank you. The back row is giving me some hand signals. Appreciate that. I do have a proclamation I'm going to read, but I'm going to take it down here to the podium if I could. So this is in addition to the agenda for this evening. Lex Poppins had asked a couple weeks ago how to go about proclaiming a day on behalf of a person that served in our community. And I know in my time of being a resident of Princeton, they had a day proclaimed for Don Smith. And if you remember, anybody remember Don Smith, what a gentleman. And we are in the same category as the person that we're going to proclaim it a day for this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and if you would just bear with me here, it's very appropriate for what we're doing tonight. And again, we want to thank Lex for helping put this together. So tonight we're going to be celebrating the life and legacy of Pamela K. Pratt. Whereas Pamela Pratt was a beloved staff member at the Bureau County History Center, the Seatonville Greenhouse, and the Bureau County Republican newspaper. And whereas Pamela Pratt moved to Princeton, where she came to cherish its people, its rhythm, and its sense of community, and in so doing became a part of its heart. And whereas Pamela Pratt had a full life giving back to her community as a Rotarian and the Princeton Chamber of Commerce as a chamber ambassador and many other organizations where she worked behind the scenes. And whereas Pamela Pratt's compassion extended to animals, especially senior pets who needed a second chance. And whereas Pamela Pratt lived a life with a full heart, with open arms and a deep love for her people and her place. Now therefore, be it proclaimed by the City of Princeton and the City Council that this day of June 8, 2025 will be forever remembered as Pamela Pratt Day in the City of Princeton. And that corresponds with this Sunday. Pamela Pratt's family is having a celebration of life, and it's this Sunday from 2 to 5 at the Cliff Event Center. And we would encourage the council if they could step out there and thank her family that's going to be present at the celebration of life. Appreciate all that Pam Pratt did. And Lex, I'd like to give you this proclamation. I'd like to say a few words of good to you about Pam Pratt, please. So first off, here's the proclamation. Thank you. You're welcome. I'll step off your side here and let you speak for a few minutes.
She came in like a thunderstorm, like a tornado, a hurricane, and she left on her own terms, just as fast as she came. Pam was a really good friend. I'll always remember her kindness and the joy that she would bring to the History Center. Her passion for the newspaper was one thing, but her passion for the History Center just blossomed. And she worked right up until the very last day of her life. And we are all luckier to have known Pamela K. Pratt. I really appreciate the council for taking this action. Thank you.
Thank you, Lex. Okay, we're going to go ahead for the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, please.
I move that we approve the minutes from our regular council meeting on May 19th, 2025.
Second. Motion and second. Is there any questions or comments from council concerning those minutes? Seeing none, clerk call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Zaleski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Thank you. Now we'll go on to the approval of the invoices, please.
In the Department of Accounts and Finances, we have $62,452.25. The Department of Streets and Public Improvement, $83,907.47. Department of Public Safety, $167,121.26. And in the Department of Public Property and Utilities, $171,698.78, with a grand total of $485,179.76. Mayor, of council members present have confirmed the reviews of all the invoices and are now submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve the invoices as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments concerning those invoices? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Selewski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Thank you. Now on to the ordinances, please.
Next on the agenda is ordinance O-25-011, authorizing the sale of personal property no longer necessary or useful to the city of Princeton. This is the second and final reading.
I move that we approve ordinance O-25-011.
Second.
Motion second, and I think we've already discussed that. There's some additional items that the electric department no longer needed. Clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Selewski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have ordinance O-25-012, amending the city code of ordinances to establish beautification standards following the demolition of a building in a B1 district. This is the first reading.
I move that we advance ordinance O-25-1-012 to the second reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and are we going to have Michael do a report on that, please?
So this was an ordinance proposed by the Plan Commission. Basically, when a B1 building, which is, think your historic districts north and south, when one of those is demolished for whatever reason, be it fire or structural instability, something like that, this just gives us some sort of beautification standard so that when those buildings go down, we're not just left with some hole in our downtown business district that creates the blight. So this would establish some landscaping and a screening fence set back about 20 feet. So we think it would go a long way in helping our streetscape.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions from the council or comments?
Michael, so they have a year after this building is demolished or something to
Yeah.
hopefully within the year they would build or something like that.
Yeah, so it's either a permit's issued to construction has begun, or if neither of those things has occurred, we would reapproach them with requesting some sort of beautification plan for the long term. If it takes 5 or 10 years to get a building up, we'd like to see some sort of effort to at least heat the space and be nice in our downtown district.
And this would apply only to new demolition projects.
Yeah. Retroactive is a little tricky.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions from the council? Jerry, good question you had. Yeah, so when we think about our downtown, both the north end and the south end, I've gone to a few meetings where they always talk about that your storefronts are kind of like your teeth. That you don't want to lose a tooth, of course, but you got to, when we have these gaps, we need to try to get them filled. And like you said, either if it can't be filled with a new building, beautification goes a long way to filling those gaps.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And we appreciate the Planning and Zoning Commission working on that. With that said, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Selewski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next on the agenda, we have Resolution R-25-016. This is authorizing the award of contract to low bidder for the roof coating on the electric building.
I move that we approve resolution R-25-016.
Second.
Okay, any questions and comments from council on that? Pretty straightforward. We're going to redo the roof out there of that building that is just north of the railroad tracks. With that said, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Selewski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye.
Next, we have Resolution R-25-017, requesting temporary closure of Illinois Route 26, a state highway from Elm Place to Park Avenue on Saturday, September 6, 2025, for the Homestead Festival Parade.
I move that we approve Resolution R-25-017.
Second. Motion second. Any questions or comments concerning that? Clerk, call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Selewski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Okay, now we're on to the board reappointments, please.
I move that we remove Carolyn Schaefer from the Princeton Public Library Board of Trustees and replace her with Ian Legner to fill an unexpired 3-year term ending June 30, 2027.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, clerk, call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Selewski.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. Thank you. All right, nice job, Janet. Lots going on there. Good job. Very good. And we'll go on now to City Manager Teresa Whittenauer, please.
First item is invitation to bid opening for resurfacing the fire and ambulance bay flooring, similar to what we did with the police department's project. It'll be the resurface the existing concrete floor of the fire and ambulance bay inside the Princeton Fire Department building. This has actually been a project that's been, I think, proposed in the budget for the last 2 to 3 years. So we are looking at about a little over 7,100 square foot of space to be redone. Bids will need to be clearly marked fire department floor resurfacing and will be accepted here at City Hall, sealed until Friday, June 13th at 10 a.m. Prevailing wage will apply to the project as well. So those details are also on our website and have been posted in the paper, obviously. So your pension reports for police and fire for April 25 are both in your packet. Just a reminder, Saturday there will be a street closure for the Princeton Mile from what time to what?
I would say probably between 9:30 and 11, but we'll try to get it sooner.
Okay. And then following that is actually Shrimp Fest starting at 11, so up at Rotary Park. So it's going to be a pretty busy weekend with everything. So go get your shrimp, and it should be another good year for that. I just another announcement real quick, and Tom, you can jump in if you want on this one. We did receive notice that the police department received their camera grant for $66,240 from State of Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. So that will help cover the equipment and the storage of the cameras that we purchased last fiscal year, but it's still great to be able to recoup that $66,000 is quite a bit. So
yeah, so the state mandated we had to have those by January 1st of this year. We actually got them in September of last year, and then that reimbursement covers all but about $1,100 of it. There's one piece they don't cover, but everything else is covered.
So it's very good news. So we're going to send the paperwork off tomorrow, so it'll be
great. Great.
For Saturday morning time, does the closure on the north end of Main Street begin at the tracks, or is it
Railroad? So
railroad.
That railroad will be diverting. I'll have an officer station there diverting traffic, and then at Park Avenue on the south.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anything else, Teresa? No. Great. So we do applaud this grant because it's nice when the state and the federal government, especially, well, I don't say especially, but let's say either one of them, they give us mandates, and then we have to fund those mandates. This is a situation that for $1,100 out of our pocket, that's pretty darn good. We'll take that any day. Very good. So now on to the mayor's report. I could ask, I know Teresa mentioned Shrimp Fest, so where are we at? Are you going to give us a little update, Jenica? Do you have something?
Want me to?
Well, let's do. You don't mind. Come up to the podium, please.
Sure, let me pull up the flyer so I get all the details.
Okay.
There is a lot going on in this town.
A lot of good things I understand, and I guess they're up to about 100. Okay. You may want to speak up a little louder. That mic does not work tonight. Please.
I'll use my mom voice then.
Okay, great.
Let me pull the flyer for, you know what, Tom, you could probably speak to Shrimp Fest just as well as I could.
We're going to have shrimp there.
Yeah.
Locally sourced. And anyway.
Illinois River.
Where's the shrimp coming from?
Goodness gracious.
We're good.
Sorry, guys, we have lots.
I could probably get you off guard on that.
Okay.
And I heard the number is up to about 100 for runners for this Saturday.
Yes. We're almost there.
That's great.
You know what, I'm going to forego the flyer because I can't find it. So Saturday is going to be a really fun and busy day in town. So the Princeton Mile this is the first year of this event. It is to raise funds for the chamber. We are up to almost 80 runners. We actually have 7 elite runners, and when you register for elite, that is to win the $1,000 prize. You have to run. You have to have proof to run, and obviously I'm not a runner, so Tom, help me out here. Women had to show that they ran a 5:30 mile.
Under a 5:30 mile, and men was under, I think, 4:45. We have a girl registered who ran a 4:31 mile, which is very fast.
So by the time we get the barricades out and we shoot a gun, it'll be over. So super excited. Ray, thank you for letting us use your Cocoa Cottage. We use it for many things. That will be for registration and packet pickup. You can also register day of. The second wave, we kind of combined it because we have under 100 runners and people taking part. So if you still want to come take part and just walk Main Street, that's totally allowed as well.
Just have to be off by 10:30.
I think we'll make that, won't we? Yeah. And then that leads us into the 4th annual Shrimp Fest, which is going to be another great year because I think the weather's going to cooperate again, which is wonderful. So we'll have kids' activities, I know, from 11 to 5, which is always super fun. I know the train will be there. We'll have bubbles, a reader, face painting, Mr. Cinnamon's balloon twisting, I believe, still. Obviously, shrimp, tons of food vendors. Al Brown will be playing first to kick us off, and then Brass from the Past, and then everybody's favorite, the Beatles tribute band, so which is huge. That brings a lot of people to town. So they haven't been here for a couple of years, so they'll be here Saturday. Also to go along with Saturday, the chamber and the retailers work together to bring back sidewalk sales. The retailers felt like what better weekend to put things that they need to get rid of out on the street than this weekend with everyone in town. So Friday and Saturday retailers, as long as the weather cooperates, will have all their goods outside discounted on the street. So did I miss anything?
I assume farmers market is going to continue?
Oh, thank you, Jerry. There is a small group of us. We really were saddened over the last few years to see the farmers market kind of dwindling at Soldiers and Sailors Park every Saturday. So there is a very small group of us that we're trying to make a valiant effort to bring the farmers market back. Because if you go to other towns, they have tons of vendors in the park every Saturday. We have 16 vendors signed up. Not all of them are every Saturday vendors. This past weekend we had 13, and then 3 at the last minute had to cancel. But we still had 10, which was amazing. The park looked much better when you drove by. We set up a little table to mingle and give out information and street concert stuff and chamber things. We had a really good turnout. So if I can get all 16 of them at the park every Saturday, that would be wonderful. But I think the progress we've made just, over the winter, making the connections and talking about it has helped significantly. So
I think people love it. We love their every Saturday.
Yeah, love it. Appreciate the support. So anything you can do by word of mouth to spread the word, we are open to adding more vendors. We'd love to get somebody serving coffee, and we have some other ideas, but we're still working on it. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Great. Very good. Thank you, Jenica.
Sorry, I wasn't more prepared, right?
I think you did great. You could work on a wing and a prayer. You did great. So let's see here. We'll go on now with the old business, please. Any old business for the council? Any new business for the council?
I have a new business item if I can, Ray. I was just talking to Teresa a moment ago. I think it's time that we remodel the public area of City Hall on first floor. I think getting rid of that wallpaper and putting some new fresh paint up there after 50 years would be a good idea. I don't know what it would cost. I don't even know if it's something we could do in the next 12 months, but I think it's something we should put on our radar to make ours look a little more appealing when people walk through the door.
We're on it.
All right, wonderful. Get the scraper out and we'll start getting that stuff off. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. I think that's great.
Yeah, and Teresa's got the office right in the corner, as people come in, and that's a great location for everybody to say hello to, so.
We'll make it look nice.
There you go. Very good. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate the input on that. I call that the classic look. I guess as I get older, I feel like I got the classic look. It's like my flip phone, the classic look. Okay. Here we go. Any other new business before the council? Okay. Any additional public comment?
Could I just real quick, Eric Sorensen's retiring tomorrow after nearly 30 years of service. So we're having an open house tomorrow between 11 and 2 at the police department. We'll be cooking food, and there'll probably be some old pictures there and all kinds of stuff. So you're all welcome to come to that.
Tom, how many years of service you say?
Almost 30.
Almost 30. Great. Very good. I appreciate that. And an officer that very, in a way, quiet but firm and very. He interacted really well with the community. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those.
Oh yeah, he was in the schools a lot with the dog, and I couldn't tell you how many thousands of kids have been through those presentations with him and the dogs. And he loved doing that kind of stuff.
That's great. Very good. He enjoyed his job and it showed.
Very much.
Yep. Great. Okay, 11 to 2 tomorrow. Okay, I think we're ready, Jerry, for adjourning the meeting, please.
I move that we adjourn our regular council meeting this evening and reconvene for our next city council meeting on Monday, June 16th, 2025, 6 p.m. at City Hall.
Second. Motion second. Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Newman.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
McCall.
Aye.
Seletsky.
Aye.
And Mayor Mabry.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending, and feel free to stay and talk to your council members. Thank you.
Okay.